Last summer, Congress passed the Respect for Marriage Act aimed at protecting, that is, same-sex marriages. But a group of Republicans say loopholes make religious institutions and charities vulnerable to retaliation, and they want new protections in the bill. Capitol Hill correspondent Erik Rosales joins us now with the latest. Erik?
Well, good evening, Tracy. Texas Congressman Chip Roy is leading the effort to amend the bill. He says that current protections in the law just fall short to protect religious organizations who oppose same-sex marriage. He tells me without these protections, people could be targeted for simply living out their faith, just like we've seen in the past.
We had the famous cake baker situation in Colorado. We've had numerous situations where people own, bed and breakfast or other things. Or how about, you got private Christian schools that are increasingly being targeted because you have a belief that under your closely held religious beliefs of a certain view of marriage.
Congressman Chip Roy and 23 other House Republicans have written to the House Appropriations Committee leaders to add protections for religious observers. The letter states in part, quote, "Without this language, we fear that the federal government will begin to systematically discriminate against religious schools, faith-based organizations, and other nonprofits by barring their participation in federal programs and removing their tax-exempt status for their views on marriage." He cites groups that help the poor and hungry, mentor to at-risk kids, and rebuild homes and minister to soldiers and first responders are at risk. Specifically, Congressman Roy wants to add language that prohibits the federal government from taking, quote, "any discriminatory action against a person in accordance with a sincerely held religious belief or moral conviction that marriage is or should be recognized as a union of one man and one woman." Congressman Roy tells me Congress has to step in to codify those rights.
Look, I think this is pretty straightforward. Frankly, I think the First Amendment kind of already takes care of it, but we have to make sure as Congress that we're underscoring that and passing legislation consistent with the Bill of Rights and with the Constitution to ensure our rights are being protected.
Bottom line, it is important to note that Republicans do not deny the Respect for Marriage Act. They simply want this amendment included to make sure that religious organizations and charities are not threatened by the federal government. Congressman Roy hopes to have this amendment added to the 2024 government spending bill. At the Capitol, Erik Rosales, EWTN News Nightly.